Welcome to chapter... Sorry, I wasn't happy with that. Can we start again? That's better. Welcome to chapter 48 of Memoirs of a White Guy. It's good to be back. How are we going, guys? I think it's been 2 weeks, or has it been a week? I don't know. It's been too long. Anyway, so if you're wondering why there was no podcast earlier this week or the week before, so yeah, it's been over 2 weeks. I have been a busy boy. I went overseas, went to Fiji for a week, so it's not really overseas, it's oversea. It's just the one sea, it's just the Pacific Ocean, and then you're there. So Fiji is pretty much Australia, but there's way more palm trees and way less white people. Actually, that's not true at all. There's so many white people, especially in the bit that I was staying at. So I was staying at this place called Denaroo Island, which is pretty much just an island made up of 5-star hotels and like golf resorts and restaurants and just fancy shit. Pretty much like you're always within arm's reach of caviar and someone obnoxious. Like, you're always in walking distance of a water fountain where you're like, why the fuck have you put a water fountain here? It's in the middle of a path. Anyway, I hate that shit. Like, literally 2 weeks ago, or whenever the last podcast was, I was ranting about staying in a 5-star hotel and how much I hated rich people. Then I had a week to cool off, and then I somehow just ended up back in a 5-star hotel. That's the thing, I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew I was going to Fiji, hadn't looked at anything, because I was going away with my girlfriend's family, right? It was my Emily's mum's 50th, and her dad, so they were all going away on a family holiday. But anyway, so they had a room for Emily, so they pretty much just paid for me, right? So I just got a free holiday, essentially. I paid for my flights and shit, but I was pretty much freeloading. It was awesome. I felt really guilty, but it was still sick. And because I was really busy leading up to the holiday, I didn't look at any of the emails. I didn't really look at where we were staying. I just knew I was getting on a plane to Fiji and I was going for about a week. And that's all I knew. And I literally rocked up to the airport and I was like to Emily, so what are we doing? Like, where are we staying? And I found out it was like a 5-star hotel. I was like, oh, that's awesome. And then as soon as I got there, I was like, oh, this is right. I hate everyone here. Why is it that like 50-year-old rich white male men have really hairy backs and they just walk around, and because they're so rich, they're so confident, and they just walk like, ugh, wax that shit. You can afford it, but yet they walk around in like their really expensive like designer board shorts that still hang below their knees, and they're just walking around like they're in Planet of the Apes, confident as fuck. Man, if I had a hairy back, I wouldn't even leave the house. I would get that shit fixed. Especially if I was that rich. I don't know why. It's just, maybe it's because I never see white men with their shirts off. Anyway, so that made me angry. Just looking at all these guys like, oh, this is my 1 week off a year, and they're just sitting there drinking a cocktail like an asshole. Like, dude, you could probably buy the whole resort. Why are you staying here? And I don't know why I'm getting mad. These people didn't do anything to me. I just walked past and I was like, you have more money than me, so I'm going to take it out on something you can't control, like your hormone levels. Fuck you. And then I just left. So yeah, well, what did I do? Like, I actually, wait, do you want me to talk? I'll talk about Fiji first, and then I've got to talk about what I did the week before. So, pretty much, I wanted to have a week off. Like, I'd been going flat out since, literally, I think this is going to sound stupid, but pretty much since I started comedy. Like, I've had, I feel like I hadn't actually had taken my mind off it. Like, I'd had, a couple of days off and stuff, but I've just been really flat out lately, and the week before I hosted the Comics Lounge. I did 16 gigs in the month beforehand, which averages out to be like one every second night. I had 8 gigs the week before I left. I'd launched the new channel, I did the Trending Trash thing. It was just a big month, and also I'm doing some other things behind the scenes that I can't say yet, because it's just, I don't want to say that shit, because as soon as you say it, and then if nothing happens with it, it'll just be annoying for you guys. So yeah, I've been super busy, so it was just awesome to literally leave all my shit behind and just sit on a beach and judge people for their testosterone levels. And it was a great holiday. But it was cool because we did the whole 5-star resort thing for a couple of days, lounged around, and that was great. And then we actually went out, like we hired a driver, and he took us out like in an hour or so out of the cities and into some of the villages in Fiji. And that was by far the best part. It was awesome. We went to a school and, we got to chat to some of the teachers and the kids, and everyone there is so much nicer than here. And by the way, I'm not going to, preach about coming back from a 1 week holiday in Fiji and being enlightened. I hate that shit. Your friends come home from Europe and they're like, oh my god, once you see the world, it just completely changes your perspective. Now I'm organic, and I'm also a vegan for no apparent reason because I saw an emperor tamarin monkey, die in its natural habitat. So for a week, I'll just be like a vegetarian, even though we don't eat fucking monkeys. I hate those people, and all over Instagram they're like, never coming home, hashtag never coming home. Yes you are, you've got a return flight booked. You are coming home, shut the fuck up. Anyway, so I'm not going to pretend I came back enlightened, but it was just really cool to see people be happy with very little. And when I say very little, these people weren't impoverished at all. They were kids, they were at a school, they had a computer lab at their school. They were all running Windows 99 and Windows XP, but they were bloody rapt about it. And why wouldn't it be? Just sit there playing pinball and Minesweeper, that's 3 hours right there. So good on them, and they were really happy people, and it was just so annoying though watching the people who I was with. I was there with Emily's family and her uncle and stuff, and everyone was being so condescending. They were just being typical white tourists, not intentionally at all, but they were just, subtly acting above them without even thinking about it. This guy in our tour group, he started talking to this little 5-year-old kid who looked like he was in about grade 1 or so, and he was like, hey, mate, do you like rugby? Because rugby is their national sport, and that's pretty much all they play over there. And this kid's like, yeah, he's being really shy, and he's like, oh, no worries, mate, can you show me how to throw the ball, blah, blah, blah. He's talking to this little kid, and then, a couple of minutes later, he starts talking to this, year 12 guy, who's about 18, 19, just about to finish school, and he's just sitting there quietly, and he walks up to him with exactly the same tone and bends down to his level, even though the guy is just as tall as him. He bends down and goes, how you going, mate? Are you alright there? How you going, sport? Do you play rugby? And this guy's just like, what? This Fijian kid's just standing there going, why the fuck is this guy talking down to me? And then he goes, yeah, you guys love your bit of rugby, don't you? Man, it's so great. You guys are so lucky. You've got your computers. And this kid just whips out an iPad and he's like, cool, man, okay. And just starts playing on an iPad. And then the guy in our tour group was like, oh, righto, yep, and just moved on. I'm like, dude, these kids have iPads. You don't have to talk down to them. They're not impoverished. They're not starving. All right, they've got Nikes on. Yeah, they're some of their clothes might be donated, but they're not. Anyway, it was interesting watching just how people act when, they're in a different foreign landscape. It was very interesting. What else happened? On our tour group, and again, this was exactly the same guy in our tour group. We had a Fijian lady show us around her village, right? She's like, this is the chief's house, no one, and she was just telling us all about the village, and at the very start, she goes, hello everybody, my name is Ondi, and then the same guy's like, nice to meet you, Wendy. It's like, dude, you're just westernizing her name and being blatantly insensitive. And our driver was called Elia, and everyone just started, everyone in Emily's family and stuff, they just started calling him Eli. He's like, hello, my name is Elia, I take your land in car, and then they're just like, how you going, Eli? I'm like, he just said his name, and you've just completely, don't pretend like it's a nickname. You just can't pronounce Elia correctly, because you're from Warrnambool and you've never seen a brown person. So, anyway, that was very funny to watch just people interacting with really a culture that isn't that foreign. The only difference is, everyone says Bulla. So, if you've been there, you'd know this. And I didn't really know because, again, I did no research about Fiji whatsoever. But everyone just says Bulla. Whenever you see, it's like hello. It means, I couldn't work out what it means because at first I thought it meant hello because you rock up to their resort and all the stuff are like, Bulla, Bulla, how you going today, Bulla? And you're like, oh, Bulla, back. Right? And then, that night, I got handed my meal, at a restaurant, and they're like, yeah, here's your parma, because again, I'm bogan as fuck, and I still managed to find a parma in Fiji. It honestly took me a while. Actually, it wasn't the first night I got the parma. It took me 3 nights to find a Parma that was up to standard. Anyway, so like they put it down, they're like, Bulla, and I'm like, what? I thought it meant hello. Now it means here's your Parmigiana. And then I also heard like some of the local Fijian people use it with a different inflection. Like they were using it as a question, which kind of meant like, are you okay? Like I was lost, I think, and I was looking for something. And then this guy came up to me, he's like, Bulla? And I was like, what does this word mean? I think it's pretty much just means, I'm here to help you, hello, here's your Parmigiana, good day, sir. All in one. That's what that word means. And you can't escape it. Like, I reckon I heard it about, no joke, like it's not even exaggeration, about 100 times a day. There. Everyone just says it. Like, you're walking down the corridor and the cleaner's like, Bulla! And then you go to the next room, they're like, Bulla! And even the white people start saying it. Like, you walk past, you know how down the street, or say if you stay in a normal resort, you might see the same people 1 or 2 days in a row because it's a small resort and the same people staying there. So you just give them a friendly nod in the corridor. That's what you do back at home. You just give them a nod and go, oh, we saw each other yesterday at the buffet. Nod. And but no, here all these other white people are just walking past each other. They don't know each other, and they're like, Bulla! And then this old lady's like, Bulla! Back, and I'm like, he's not even holding a Parmigiana. Why are you saying Bulla? Like, no one even knows what this word means. You learnt it 3 days ago, and now it's just become a part of your daily, like, dialect. That's not... I hate people... People on holidays suck, because they just become, like... You know, they get all relaxed, like, I'm no longer at work, I'm going to get really cultured, and then they hear one word that it's foreign, like, Bulla, and they're like, oh, I'm going to start using that every single time I see a person. And, yeah, so that was interesting, the word Bulla. And, like, it was funny because me and Emily were walking up the halls and I was just being an asshole about it. Like, I knew the person was about to say Bulla, so I just lean over to Emily and be like, oi, what do you reckon this person's favourite ice cream is? And the person would be like, Bulla! And you're like, oh my god, no way. Or like, oi, Emily, what do you reckon this guy's favourite skiing spot in Victoria is? And he's like, Bulla! And you're like, oh my god, no way. He answered my question. Anyway, so I was being a bloody funny bugger. Because those are jokes, and that's what I do. And say, look, I'm having a week off, but you can't stop me from zinging a bunch of Fijians with their own word. You can't stop me. I'm a man. I'm just a machine. I'm a zing machine. I just zing, zing, zing all day. If I was a burger, I'd be a zinger. Fucking shut up, Luke. All right. What else happened? We went out to this place called Cloud 9. It's in the middle of like the ocean. It's about a 40-minute boat trip out, and it's pretty much a pontoon for tourists under 25. You just drink and jump off the top, so that was alright. It costs like $250. That's the thing. All the tours there are bullshit. Like it costs like $400 to go on a jet ski, and that's Fijian, so it's about $300 Australian. And guess how much Coronas were? $21. That's like $15 Australian. So I was mainly just smashing the 2-for-1 cocktails from 2 to 3 p.m. every day. That was the thing. It was great that because you don't have you can't text each other because you're overseas, and if you don't have Wi-Fi but you need to find someone so you can't message them, you just go to where the cocktail lounge is between 2 to 3, and you could usually find someone there who you wanted to see. So that was very convenient. Sorry, I'm sick. I don't know why. I don't know if I came back sick. I pretty much lived off a diet of like pizza and beer for a week, which is disgusting. But it was very fun to have a week off because I pretty much hadn't. I was really I don't know. I really needed it. Like I got there and I didn't realize. It sounds so douchey. I'm like, I've been working so hard. But yeah, it was just really good to get away from it all. And sorry I didn't put out a trending trash this month. What happened was, and again, I'm sorry I didn't out the podcast, because what happened was I was leaving on the Monday night, and I really wanted to get out the Bachelor video, because we'd refilmed it, we'd had 2 filming sessions. I wrote it, I co-wrote it with one of my friends and stuff while we were watching the show, and I put in a lot of effort to that Bachelor video, to the point where I was like, man, if I wait another week to upload this, it's not going to be relevant at all. So I spent the whole Monday finishing that Bachelor video, and then, I started recording the podcast and then realized I just wouldn't get time to finish it because I hadn't packed. It got to 5 p.m. I had to leave to the airport at about 5:45 and I hadn't packed. I didn't even know where I was going, and I was like, look, I can't do a podcast right now. And then I tried to work out how to do the podcast, uploading it from my phone, and I just don't think you can because I didn't want to bring my laptop. I just wanted to completely rest. And you know what? It was a minor inconvenience for you guys. I'm sorry that you didn't have your free content. I hate that, man. Like, people just forget about you. Like, for the first week, people were like, "Oi, Luke, where's Trending Trash? Where's the podcast?" And you're like, "Oh my god, this is free. Just ease up, alright? I'm sorry." And that's why you don't promise shit, which is why I'm not going to talk about any of the other stuff I'm doing, because people just lose their minds if you don't deliver. Because it's 2017, and if you're not releasing content every minute of every day, people rage at you. You're like, "Wait, I need more content. I need to consume more." Like, I don't get to know how you guys get time for this podcast, really. Actually, I got a really nice message from someone saying, where was it from? It was from Bridget. This is a nice one. Bridget listens while she's going for walks. She said, "Hey Luke, I've been following your videos for a while. I really enjoy them, so thank you. Thank you very much, Bridget. I've only just started listening to your podcast while on my walk. My usual route was 30 minutes, but now I have to change it up because your podcasts go for around 50 minutes. So now I'm walking longer and getting fitter, all while smiling and laughing like an idiot while I walk around because you're a funny bastard. So it's all your fault, but keep up the great work. Thanks." Thank you very much, Bridget. What a legend. Look at me. I'm shit memeing and getting people fit at the same time. So I'm pretty much a PT. This is, some people look down on what I do, like, "Oh, you just talk shit for an hour." No, I'm a personal trainer. Alright, so does anyone else listen to this podcast while exercising? Because say for once I did say something remotely funny on this podcast, right? And you're like halfway through benching like 80 kilos, and then I say something funny and you laugh. You know how when you laugh, all the tension gets released, like in your abs? You'd be like, and you drop the weight, and I'd probably kill someone. So maybe just walking's fine, but don't listen to this podcast in the gym, because it's way too fucking funny. That wasn't funny. Anyway. So what else do I want to talk about? So Fiji was great. That's pretty much all I have to say about it. I pretty much just sat by the pool. There was all these traditional Fijian drums lying around the resort, and every day I just go out and play a drum solo for all the children. Standing ovations, it was pretty much, I was a rock star there. At the start of the week I was a nobody, and then I left a rock star because of my drum solos. I was playing the Hawaii 5-0 drum bit. I even dropped B-Boys Fly Girls by Boomfunk MC at one point. I was playing classics. I was playing Let It Go, just a Frozen, and I was singing as well. So it was a real treat for all the parents and kids who were desperately trying to escape that in Melbourne, but you're welcome. I brought it to Fiji. So that's what you get when you go on holidays with Luke. You get a little bit of a taste of home and a bit of shit memes while you're at it. Could you imagine? I felt so bad for the people because I was filming it for the vlog, and Emily didn't want to film it because she was embarrassed, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, so I want to film me singing Let It Go," and I was just singing at the top of my lungs, playing this traditional Fijian drum, and there's this whole family, and you can tell the dad's been working for 5 years without a holiday, and it's his 1 week off, and he's just got a cocktail in his hand. There's this kid just tugging on him, and he's just ignoring the shit out of his kid, and he's just sitting there with his eyes closed, laying back going, "Oh my god, this is the moment I've been waiting for half a decade." And then this dickhead comes up next to him, picks up these 2 wooden drumsticks and goes, "Do, do, 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 let it go, let it go." And he's just, as he's walking to reception just to book a return flight home, he just hears in the distance, "Here I am." I'm an arsehole, but I did that shit every day. I just went there and I was like, "What tune am I busting out on the traditional drum today?" And like all the staff members, these Fijian men are playing all these traditional like solos on there, like Bulla, and I'm just rocking out and I'm like covering Elsa from Frozen like a dickhead. This is why I can't have nice things. Like everyone else at the resort was so respectful of one another. They were there for their holiday. People were jet skiing, having fun, drinking cocktails. And I'm just walking around like, there was a quiets only adult area. And I'm just like, "Oi, Emily! There's an adults only quiet area. Do you want to go to the quiet area?" And all these people like, just looking at me like, "Shut the fuck up. Who even invited you?" Actually, it was really funny. I did that, and this guy and his wife were walking past, and the wife was like, ugh, and the guy just lost his shit laughing, and Emily's like, you're so embarrassing, shut up. And I was like to the guy, that was pretty funny, right? The guy was like, yeah, that was pretty good. So you know what? Fuck the haters. I got fans out there enjoying my improv, enjoying my assholery. Alright, let's talk about something different. Fiji was awesome. Man, we've got so much to catch up on. The Bachelor has been on, and man, girls have been dropping out of that mansion left, right, and center. You've got your Leah just went out. It was just, I don't even know how many girls are left. There's not many. All the people who are left are Mitchell Brockman. I should have read out the people who aren't left. I'm an idiot. Anyway, half of you are out now, and we still don't have a prize for whatever this Bachelor sweep thing is. So by next week, on Monday, there'll be a guest podcast with Frenchie, which I've been meaning to drop for ages. I recorded it with him during the Melbourne Comedy Festival in April. But that's an awesome episode. So that'll be out on Monday. But yeah, so we need to find it's a prize for this by the next week. So we've got about a week and a half to work out. I mean, I'd love to get your suggestions. What do you guys want? That's the thing. If you're in this competition, what do you guys want to get out of it? It needs to be funny, obviously. I mean, originally I think we still might do the idea of the winner gets to organise a date that me and Emily have to go on. Actually, I'm not sure if Emily's agreed to that. Oh, well, she'll agree. You know what, I wouldn't even tell her. I'll just say, hey, we're going on a date, and then just take her on the shittest date of all time, and we'll record it on the podcast. That'll be good fun. So I'm thinking that's the prize, but yeah, if you guys think of any other suggestions for the prize for the Bachelor sweep, let me know. I just caught up on all the episodes yesterday because I couldn't watch it when I was overseas because the app doesn't let you watch that shit and it's not on their TV. So I was really going through Bachelor withdrawals. I needed some Osh in my life. I was sweating, waking up in a panic. I was just mumbling Gunsberg under my breath like a psychopath. But I somehow made it home in one piece, and I finally got to catch up. And it came out in last night's episode that Leah is she said that she was a party planner, but she was planning naked parties for guys at Bucks parties with herself. She was the naked one. And that shit already came out 2 weeks ago online. And that's classic mainstream media being 2 weeks behind the 8 ball with everything. You see it on the internet, and I hate that shit. Don't you hate that when a video goes viral and you've seen it a month ago, and then your mum comes into your room and it's like, oh, Koshi was talking about this viral video where this turtle became friends with a little kelpie, and they were walking around, they were cuddling, and it was right before the cash cow, and you're like, oh my god, I saw that shit. I might just get a Facebook account, but also don't, because I post horrible things on the internet. Man, mainstream media is just, I don't know, catch up. Just read, all they need is someone with a Wi-Fi connection to be like, hey, maybe let's not wait a month to broadcast this and do it while it's remotely relevant, so we don't become a meme ourselves. But anyway, most of them do become memes. What was I talking about? Oh, The Bachelor. Yeah, so I caught up. There's I think 3 people are going out on tonight's episode, so by the time you're listening to this, we'll probably know. But it's getting real intense. It's getting down to the business end of the season. And you know what I like about it? Matty J's not playing around. He's in it for love, and that's what you want. And I'm sure he's going to get a root out of it at some point. So, you know what? Hats off to the man. I really like him. He's probably my second favourite Bachelor. No one can top Mr. Tim Robards, the best Bachelor of all time. You just can't. And actually, here's the thing. I didn't want to announce this on the podcast because there's nothing to announce. But it was more just, I wanted to let you guys know about a mission that I've decided to undertake. Mark my words, I will get either a bachelorette, or a contestant, or a bachelor, hopefully, on this podcast one day. Now, I've been in contact. No, I've got a few leads. Someone was messaging me in Melbourne, saying he was out at a nightclub and Florence from The Bachelor was there. And I told this guy as he was Snapchatting me, I was like, "Oh, ask her if she wants to come on my podcast." And apparently, the girls are contracted. They're contractually obliged to not talk about the show until December. And by the time it gets to December, that's going to be pretty boring. So I don't think I can get a bachelorette on there. But I was thinking maybe get an ex-bachelor next year on my tour when I go to Sydney or something. I'm going to try and do my very best to get someone from this, what is an incredible franchise. Oh my god, imagine if I got Osher. Holy shit, that would be the best moment of all time. You know what, that's the dream goal. Man, you know what, we're going to end up at the Yarra River in 20 weeks' time looking for Osher Gunsberg. And you know where this is going. Anyway, man, I'm sick. I don't know why. I've been treating my body like a temple. If the temple had like a big Macca's sign out the front and it was just filled with like yeast and vodka. Anyway, oh fuck, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I'm gonna try and get one of the people from The Bachelor on there, whether it's a Gunsberg, whether it's a Bachelorette. Look, anything would be great. And actually, here's the thing, I found out that Lisa from The Bachelor is working at a store 10 minutes away from my house. She's working retail at this store, and one of my mates works at the store with her. So I'm definitely gonna, I don't know, I'm gonna try and suss it out. I don't think she's allowed to talk about the show, but Lisa's one of the front runners, and man, it would be good to get even just a short interview with her. Maybe just, oh no, look, I'm working on some stuff. I can't promise anything. She'll probably just tell me to fuck off, because she's like, who are you? I don't want to go on your shitty white supremacy podcast. But yeah, it would be great to get a Lisa on, wouldn't it? Who's got Lisa in the competition? Maybe we've got Isabel, who's got Lisa in the suite. Maybe we can get Isabel talking to Lisa. God, that'd be the dream. Anyway, I needed to get someone on the podcast who's related to that show. Even if I got like the sound guy from the show and I just get inside scoops from him, that'd be great. Like scoops about how they do Osher's hair so perfectly every single episode. Either way, someone, I'm going to get someone. All right, mark my words, this will happen, but just give me like 3 years. What else do I want to talk about next? Oh, okay. This one is, you guys will be thankful. You guys will be, a few people will be, have been missing something on this podcast, something I haven't done for a while. You could say there's been a lack of fun on this podcast as of late. And you know what? I couldn't agree more. So, without further ado, well, there is going to be further ado, because I'm going to keep padding this out, because that's about 95% of what this segment is. But, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very pleased to announce it's time to bring back the fun fact. Play the fun fact horn! Look at that, we've got a horn and there's not even been a fact yet. That's how much fun we're already having. Holy shit, can you hear those beats? The beats are already playing. Oh, ho, ho. Woo! It's just party central right now in my bedroom. My Paramore poster just leapt off my wall. It's just like, take me back to 2005. And yeah, the fun fact's about to go. I got a really good fun fact. The reason why I'm bringing back the fun fact is because some guy called on Snapchat, his name's Freddie Newt Newt, so he's probably a big Pingu fan. Remember that show with the penguin? Pingu, Pingu, Newt Newt. That's what Freddie probably does every day. Anyway, Freddie Newt Newt said something, I don't know, we're talking about something, and then he said, I can't wait to see you one day become a household name, and hopefully one day you'll release the sacred tape of Peter Pigeon so I may be blessed. P.S. Here's some fun facts of the podcast. And he's given me one that's an honourable mention. So we should probably just get warmed up with that and start, having a little bit of fun. So this is the honourable mention. Pretty good fact, but not as fun as, some of the usual facts. Gary Kremnin, the founder of Match.com, lost his girlfriend to a man that she met on Match.com. So that's it's an honourable mention. It's nothing too fun. There was no genocide involved. There was, there's nothing too outrageously joyous that happened in that fact. More just a bit of an ironic breakup that you made a dating site and then your girlfriend fucking cheated on you with some guy she met on your dating site. That sucks. Anyway, I'm sure she got a massive payout too, because that's fair and the law, and yep. Anyway, so, alright, this is the fun fact time. And here's the thing, because we haven't had a fact for quite some time, I'm worried that, people just won't be ready for fun. Like, what about if we create a black hole or, like, implode the universe from high octane levels of fun. What about if that happens? So, without further ado, again, even though there's been lots of further ado, let's do the fun fact. Bro, everyone just sit down, by the way, because, you might be ready for it. You've had a few weeks off, and it's going to be hard coming back with so much fun. But I feel like this is quite a nice comeback one. So let's do it. In 1985, a man drowned at a pool party which was attended by 100 lifeguards. And already you're probably thinking, shit, that's a lot of fun. It gets better. The party was a celebration of the fact that the first summer had passed without a drowning at the New Orleans municipal pool. Sound the fun fact horn! Oh, it feels good to be back, doesn't it? Hope you guys enjoyed that. A bit of an ironic drowning. Dude, how does someone drown with 100 lifeguards? Did all those lifeguards get fired afterwards? Like, are all 100 of them? Like, all that... How does that happen? Like, even if there was, 3 lifeguards at an event, I could be like, oh, I could pass out underwater here and I'd still be fine. They're all terrible at their job. I don't get how they'd even gone a year without letting someone drown. That's fucked up. Anyway, that's a good fact. I don't know if it's true, but it's a fact, so it's got to be. Thank you very much, Freddie Newt, for sending in that fun fact. And God Almighty, it's good to be back. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Jeez, I'm actually cool down from the fun. I think my heart skipped a beat then as I heard the fun fact horn, and now my body's just in cardiac arrest. Oh, so much fun. All right, let's move on. So 2 weeks ago, or whenever the last podcast was, I did announce that I was going to be hosting the Comics Lounge for an entire week, which is, the Comics Lounge is, as I've said before, but I'll say it again, just in case you're new. The Comics Lounge is the biggest comedy club in Australia, seats about 500, 600 people, and it's a pretty big deal, to be honest, especially hosting it, when you're as young as I am. I'm only 21, so it's pretty, I'm not going to toot my own horn. Oh, wait, do I have a horn here? Oh, toot my own horn! Alright, now that I've tooted my own horn, it was, it was really cool. It was definitely one of probably the coolest week of gigs I've ever done, some of the best shows. It was just so weird doing that every night, because, I'm used to, going to open mic nights, performing in front of 30, 20 people, sometimes it's 10, sometimes it's 50, just whatever, and it's never... But, you go out every night and you're performing in front of 300 people, or, to 500 people on the weekends who have paid for it. It's surreal and definitely my dream. And because it's the biggest comedy club in Australia, all the big names pop in. So on the Wednesday, Dave Hughes was there and I got to announce him on, which is really cool. Tommy Little was there every night, and he's a really nice guy. It's just you meet really good people, and it's great. It's great being a part of... It's great being surrounded by people who are at the top of the Australian comedy. And it's awesome to have that opportunity so early. So yeah, I just wanted to thank everyone for, who vouched for me. And Neil Kolhatkar, he was headlining all week and he actually asked me to host it. So, and also thanks to you guys, because, if it wasn't for, say, I don't know, it sounds a bit douchey, but having a fan base and an audience, that definitely contributes to getting those opportunities. So big thanks to you guys for getting around me and listening to this abortion of a podcast every week. So, and also I got to meet a few of you when I was doing it. A few of you came along and watched, so I got to hang out with a few of you after. So thanks for coming. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Everyone who came seemed to have a real good time, so it's always a good night out there. And everyone's home, man. My mum and dad just came home. I'm usually home alone. This is sick. Now I'm going to be like, Sharon, is Gardening Australia on yet? Great. Anyway, I'm going to wrap up the podcast soon anyway. I just wanted to say that, yeah, hosting that for a week was just really cool. And I even improved. I feel like I improved as a comedian by the end of the week. And I was super tiring, but then I got to go away the day later and have a week off. Because here's the thing. I need to start writing next year's show for the tour. But I couldn't. I found it really hard to move on because I had those big shows coming up. But now I finally feel like I can truly scrap that material. And because in my head I was like, I need to write new stuff. But I somehow, there was the thing I couldn't get past and I couldn't move on to new stuff. But now I'm finally in that space where I'm going to be able to write new stuff now. And I'm super excited about it because there's nothing more fun as a comedian than getting up there on stage and having a new joke work for the first time. Like, everyone laughs. That's the best feeling, and that's kind of why I do it for. So I'm excited to do that process again. It's a very scary thing, writing the second show, because the first show was like my best of 2 years, and now I've got about 7 months to write the next show. But I'm not worried about it, because I'm a way better comedian than I was. It took me like a year to work out what was even funny. So, yeah, I'm super excited about that. That's enough boring shit about comedy for you all. What next? Okay, I'm going to answer a question, and then the podcast is over. So, this one is from... Oh, I've got to find it. I should organise this shit. It's from Emily Lowe. She said, "Hi, Luke. I love MOAWG, which would stand for Memoirs of a White Guy." So she said, "I love Moag." Can we start calling this podcast Moag from now on? That'd be great. Welcome to chapter 48 of Moag. That would suck, actually. Let's never do that. What'd she say? Emily said, "I listen to it while I study, and it definitely makes it more entertaining. I tried listening to it in class once, but I laughed too hard and almost got detention, so thanks." Oh, wait, this is the same Emily. Oh, no, that was Bridget about the thing. Anyway, cool. So lots of people laughing too hard at this. So that's a good sign. It means I'm doing something right. Anyway, she said, "I have 2 questions. 1, any tips for finishing year 12? And 2, did you go to Schoolies? If so, did you enjoy it? Keep smacking those cheeky muffs. Thanks, Emily." Man, oh yeah, I gotta update you all. So many muffs were slapped. Like, the amount of misbehaving muffins that I saw copping abuse this week was honestly overwhelming. Like, I hadn't had that sort of thing really since the peak of the fat bird thing. It was about 15 to 20 a day, just muffins getting absolutely bopped on the head by a backhand. Dude, some people were taking it way too far. I got a snap of a guy stabbing a muffin with scissors. I didn't say murder a muff. I said smack a muff to teach it a lesson. What's wrong with you all? Some of you are psychopaths. Some people, most of you are just, giving it a cheeky backhand. But some of you, Jesus Christ, you're slapping muffins off desk. You're throwing muffins into walls. I didn't say go around like torturing muffs. I just said make sure those cheeky muffs, know what's coming for them, because they've been getting away with being cheeky for too long. Jesus Christ. But honestly, I think we got him. Like, I think we won. I don't think there's any cheeky muffs left. I was getting cheeky muff slaps sent to me all around the world. I got one from Dublin. I got some from, like, London. It was just crazy. I got some from America. Different, like, everywhere in the world. I even got... So I think I got one from, like... It was, like, cheeky muff slap sent to you from Papua New Guinea. I was like, Jesus Christ. Like, this week was not a good week to be a cheeky muff. That's for sure. Oh, my God. But yeah, thank you all for slapping them muffs. I think we taught them a lesson. And also, thank you very much for spamming Lewis Spears' Snapchat with them. It took 3 days for him to bring it up with me. 3 days. Like, he was getting them, and he was confused. I think he was meant to bring it up with me sooner, but he forgot about it. And then, like, 3 days after the podcast was released, he just shot me a message going, "Oi, how come I keep getting messages of people slapping cheeky muffs?" And, like, he didn't hate it, but, I can understand his confusion. So thank you all very much. We absolutely got him. Man, I'm sick. I went for a run yesterday. I used to be a pretty elite runner, right? Like, back in the day, I used to run at, like, state championships and run at a fairly high level. And since starting comedy, I've since stopped that level of fitness. But I hadn't run since before the tour in May. And I decided to go for a run yesterday. And the thing is, like, in my head, I can still run. Like, my brain goes, yeah, we're still good at running. But my body's like, no, you're not. No, you're not at all. So I ran 7 kilometers of absolutely no fitness. And I've woken up today and everything hurts. Like, everything. My back, even my feet were sore. Like, my hands. I don't know why my hands were sore. I didn't run on my hands. I didn't handstand run 7 kilometers. But my hands, everything just hurt. My body was like, why would you do that off no fitness? Because in my head, I'm like, yeah, 7 kilometers. We used to do that all the time. And now, my body's like, we don't even leave the house. What are you doing outdoors? All this fresh air is making, like, I felt uncomfortable just being in fresh air. And, man, it sucks though, because all my mates from running, like, they're still good. So I went with all them. I went with a few of my old running mates, and I just got left behind very quickly, because, like, I'm used to just keeping up with them. So for the first half, I was running with them, and I'm like, man, I've still got this. I'm killing it. And then it hit about the 3K mark, and absolutely died in the arse. So that sucks. I don't know if I'm going to get back into running or not. Still yet to decide. And then I also woke up sick as well. I'm pretty sure... Oh, I didn't talk about this. The plane ride to Fiji. Oh, I'm going to talk about this too. Oh, I was in the middle of answering a question, wasn't I? I'll get back to your question soon, Emily. I promise. I need to talk about this. I should have talked about this earlier. So, on the way back from Fiji, it's about a 4.5 hour flight from Melbourne to Fiji. And on the way back, first of all, it got delayed for about 2 hours, or a few hours, I think, at Fiji. Then we eventually got on the plane 2 hours later, and this lady, right as the plane was like being towed out onto the runway, so we were moving, this woman at the back of the plane decides she doesn't want to be on the plane anymore. She's like, I want to leave the plane, because she found out that our flight had to be rerouted through to Brisbane to refuel, and then back to Melbourne, so it was going to take an extra 2 hours. And she's like, I've got kids, I can't be on this flight anymore. So they legitimately pulled the plane back to the terminal. She got off. She didn't get a refund. Dude, everyone was like seething at her as she walked off. And everyone's like, whatever, we'll be back off in 10 minutes. It'll be fine. But then they had to treat it like a terrorist threat. Because what happened was sorry, I'm really sick. Her bags were still under the plane, and then she's just got off. So everyone's like, you have to treat it as, oh, they've planted a bomb and now left the plane. So they had to get government officials from Fiji to find her bags and all her kids' bags, get them off the plane, and then like redo all the checks. It took 2 hours. We were on the tarmac for 2 hours before we even left Fiji, just sitting there on a plane. And like the staff and stuff, people are complaining. I didn't really care because I had the exit row, so I was like, I got leg room. I was fine. And also I had nowhere to be. I was just like, yeah, it sucks. We're on a plane. Get over it. And everyone's just bitching about, and everyone's losing their shit at this woman who's now gone, by the way. But everyone's just losing their shit. And then all the flight attendants are going through trying to calm everyone down, and they just start handing out cookies at like the 1.5 hour mark, like as compensation. Like, dude, you should get like a free flight. The flight in the end took 9 hours and 45 minutes. Almost, probably, I think it was just 10 hours by the time we got off. And it was a 4.5 hour flight, because then we stayed on the tarmac in Brisbane for about an hour while it refueled, and then it was another 2 hours back to Melbourne. It was definitely the shittest flight I've ever been on, for sure. And I was just thinking the whole time, like, I wonder if that lady knew that she just inconvenienced like 200 people, like 4 hours of their life, and all we got in compensation was complimentary cookies. But fuck me dead, they were pretty good cookies. Choc chip, so I actually wasn't complaining at all. All these other people like, I want a refund, and I'm like just crunching on my cookie going, yeah, but we wouldn't have got this cookie if she hadn't got off the flight. So how about you stop whinging and just enjoy the choc chip. So that was interesting. That sucked. And to be honest, I don't know who was more mad, like all the us people on the flight or the flight attendants and the staff. Like, as the captain announced, oh, so we have to go back to the terminal, there's someone on the flight who wants to leave the plane. And everyone's looking around like, who is it? Who is it? And I just look out the window while everyone's trying to work out who the bitch is who wants to get off. And I see the guy, the guy who has to push the big stairs that go up to the plane? He's already pushed them away because the flight's about to leave. And he's just pushing them all the way back, like 100 meters, just losing his shit, going, like, I've already pushed these away. Why am I now pushing them back? Because this one woman wants to get off. Like, what a selfish bitch. And the whole thing was because she didn't think her kids could handle a 6-hour flight as opposed to a 4-hour flight. But then she made all of us wait on the plane for 10 hours. Just because she didn't pack enough Vegemite sandwiches for, Anyway, so that was the worst. I need to get back to your question, Emily, because I've got really distracted. This happens all the time on this podcast. So, the first question, Emily, was, any tips for finishing year 12? Firstly, don't get easily distracted like that. That's a big tip. It doesn't do you any favors. And it's a problem that I'm dealing with because I see, like, I'm such a thing where my brain goes one place and I'm like, oh, a butterfly. And then I just start wandering off into another place. It's terrible. See, I just did it again. I started talking about butterflies. Any tips for finishing year 12? My tips would be, what do you mean for finishing? Like, it's not hard to finish. You just got to go in there, sit your exams. It depends if you want to finish year 12 successfully or just finish and pass. Like, by the end, I didn't really care anymore. I didn't really get a lot out of school because I knew nothing I wanted to do in life. School wouldn't help me in comedy, for example. So even though I didn't know I wanted to do comedy, I just knew I didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to do something creative after school. That's all I knew. And me learning about the French Revolution and the American Revolution and legal studies and shit, it was just like, it's not going to help me. So, my tip would be, depends what you want to do. You haven't given me a lot of information. If you want to do something with school, my tips would be do the best you can, study hard, smash your exams, and you'll get in the course you want straight away. But if not, seriously, it's just a test, and you can always get into the course you want 6 months or a year after. There's always other avenues into there, so I wouldn't stress about it too much. Just pretty much do your best is my advice, and then you can't ask anything more than that. No one's going to get mad at you if you did your best. I probably didn't do my best. I probably could have done better, but I also was pretty chuffed with myself for not trying, because I'm like, man, what a waste of time that would have been, applying effort to that. Number 2, did you go to Schoolies? If so, did you enjoy it? I've got a good Schoolies story for you all. I don't know if I should tell it. Well, I've got to tell it now. I brought it up. Emily's not going to be right with this. Actually, it's more me. It's mainly embarrassing for me. Yes, I did go to Schoolies. I didn't go to the Gold Coast, which is where most people from Melbourne go on Schoolies. It was about half-half. 50% of people went to the Gold Coast. And if you don't go to the Gold Coast, you go to Lorne. In Melbourne, it's just like it's on the beach, it's on the coast, you just drink in a small town called Lorne, essentially. So I went to Lorne because I'm very disorganized. Like, I don't organize this shit. It was like the Fiji thing. I just don't care. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to Schoolies. And then it got to about a week before I left. I hadn't booked anything. So I just went, oh shit, I got to organize this. So Emily's friends had already booked a house thing. There was a spare bed. I just chucked them some money and stayed there for the week. And it was very funny because I was staying in a house with, like, mainly girls who were staying there. But I had mates in a house, like, close by, so I was hanging out with them a fair bit. But the very first night, I'd never drunk alcohol before. I didn't drink in high school, right? So it was the first time I'd ever drunk properly. And I went hard in the first 2 hours. I think I got there at about 5 or 6, and I was passed out on a bed by 8. Just completely unconscious because I'd never drunk, and I was like mixing vodka like 50-50, like, I don't know, is this how it's done? And I was just an idiot, and I ended up munting in Emily's hair. I munted on the steps, and I wasn't even supposed to be staying there, and I threw up red because I was drinking raspberry and vodka. So I just threw up red all over the steps, and I'm pretty sure Emily had to clean it up. I cleaned it up a bit the next morning. I don't know why I'm telling everyone this. Does not pay me in a good light at all. But yeah, so if so, did you enjoy it was your question. I didn't enjoy that night, but I enjoyed the rest of it. I only stayed for like 4 days, to be honest, because I just got sick of it. But really, here's the thing, because I'm always like, not the fun guy in the group, but always the guy trying to make every situation better as you can. Like, for example, we were staying in a house with a bunch of girls, right? And it was Emily and her friends, and there was a table tennis table in the garage, but we were staying on like the second story of a house, and it was it was really high up. It was almost probably the third story because they had a little bungalow below. And I was like, man, wouldn't it be cool if we got the table tennis table into the kitchen to play beer pong? But it was up like 2 flights of stairs, so I got some of my mates around, and I didn't really ask the girls. They were all just sitting there drinking, and me and my 2 mates just start walking up the stairs with a table tennis table and just dump it in the middle of the kitchen. And the girls are like, who the fuck invited this guy? And so I was that guy. I just made it a party house, essentially, even though I was the one passed out first. But I think that's the way to do it. So yeah, I would recommend going to Schoolies, but I only stayed from like Sunday to Thursday. Didn't stay the whole week because honestly, I was done by like the Wednesday. Just it's pretty much Schoolies is pointless because you go to a foreign place to drink with your friends. Like you could just do that wherever you live. Like say if you and your friends live in the same 3 suburbs, just do it there because it's the same shit except you're just drinking because you don't talk to other people. Like, no, everyone just hangs out with their high school friends in the Gold Coast anyway. You're just in a foreign place. So it's pretty pointless. But go. It's something you got to do, I reckon. Would recommend going to Schoolies. Bit of fun. It's, get a good story out of it. Munt in your girlfriend's face. It's just a real... Emily's going to be wrapped with that. Man, that's true love right there. We were probably only like a year and a half into our relationship then. And she's still with me after I vomited in her hair. That is classic Luke. But yeah, so that's my Schoolies experience. Other than me passing out and learning how to drink, I still can't drink vodka, really. Like to this day, it still puts me off from that night. I'm more of a beer guy now, or I like a rum. But yeah, just can't do vodka because of that one incident. Everyone has that drink where one time they drank way too much of it, and now whenever I even smell it, I just gag. I can't do it. I'm like, get that shit out of here. Anyway, that's the end of the podcast. Thank you guys very much for listening. Bridget, I hope you're nearing the end of your walk. If so, just keep trekking on. There's about 30 seconds of the podcast left. Guys, send in more questions. That was the only question this week. Send in what you want the prize to be for this Bachelor sweep. Even if you're not in the sweep, still send in an idea because it could be amusing for everyone. I've given you one about you guys, the winner plans a shitty date for me and Emily, or an awesome one. You could be nice, but if you got any other ideas like that, that would be really cool. And yeah, enjoy your week, guys. Actually, I'll see you. Sorry, this is going to be out on the Friday. So there'll be another podcast on Monday to make up for the missed podcast, and that will be with Frenchie during the comedy festival. That's a really awesome chat. So I'll see you in like a week, but there'll be another podcast in like 2 days. Adios, amigos. God, I hate how I end this podcast every week.